there, my name is Jenny. I am the director for Wonders Early Learning Center, and we are part of the Blog Ambassador program for Mother Goose Time. We use Mother Goose Time for our curriculum and have for quite a few years now, and it's been so fun to see that company grow and now to be a part of it. And part of that blog program, our topic for this month was how do we involve parents and how do we communicate with parents? And there's so many ways that are involved in Mother Goose Time that I thought maybe a video would be a little bit easier. So we're going to start with things that come in our teacher pack. The very first thing that's so helpful is this family newsletter, because as every director knows, it's great to write a newsletter about what you're learning, but time is a little bit lacking, we'll say. It's pretty busy. So it's really helpful that Mother Goose Time puts together this nice newsletter for us, and it's front and back. On the front side, there's always some type of thing that's helpful to parents, like something they can work on at home. This month, it's called Improving Transitions. So kind of how do we get kids to move from one thing to the next, which is really challenging at this age. So this is a really good topic for parents and things that we can all work on in the classroom and at home. It communicates to parents the approach that we're taking at school, as well as things they can do to help at home. There's always a little bit about our theme. This theme for the month of December is sights and sounds. So we're talking about all kinds of fun things. This first week is all about different types of instruments, and we're learning different types of music, which is really fun. Then we move on to some different animals and things as we talk about winter and holidays and festivities and celebrations. So it's a lot of fun. So here's a little bit about what we're doing this month, a topic that we could all work on, some featured concepts. Every month we have letters and shapes and colors and things that we're focusing on. The character trait's always really fun. So this month is all about being brave. So we're going to be using that language a lot. Here's some phonics photos with letters, things that they're going to be working on. B is for bear, bell, bird. P is for pig and penguin and piano, things like that. Then on the back side, it's going to have a mini version of our concept map. These are hanging in the classrooms, but it's nice for the parents to kind of have this reminder at home about where we're headed and what's happening that day. They can talk to their children about, oh, you know, I'm so excited to see what you learn about bears today. That's going to be really fun. And then on the back, there's a short list of some books that might be helpful and some things they can do at home, just fun family activities. So this is a really quick newsletter. It comes all ready to go, one for every family, one for every child actually, and it's just so helpful that it's all set. Again, here's our concept map, a nice big one for our classrooms. So each teacher will make a bulletin board for their classroom. Here's our concept map. Then we're going to get this one, which is our calendar for the month that has some activities on it that we're focusing on. We get to fill in the numbers because sometimes we're not exactly on December 1st depending on how it falls in the week. So we can kind of customize this to what our classroom might look like. Last thing that comes in our teacher pack that we hang up every month is this scope and sequence chart. These are all the standards for early childhood, the national standards, and it's really neat to show parents this is where we're headed and why, and it looks like the kids are just playing, and they are. That's what they should be doing, but this is the goals. This is where we're headed. And then it shows the days of the week across the top, all the standards, and then kind of how they're going to meet that throughout the month. Anything with a star on it are things that we're going to be assessing. We might save a piece for their work sample. We might just document kind of how the child approached it, but it's a good reminder to the teachers to be paying attention to those items throughout the month. So these things are helpful for the teachers, but also hanging in the classroom is really helpful for the parents to see. Every day we get one of these. This is our topic poster for the day. And it always has an interesting picture on it. It gets the kids thinking and talking about it. Has our title for the day and kind of the lesson number where we're at in the unit. And this is really helpful. We hang it here on our bulletin board. This is part of our circle time board for each classroom. And not only does this communicate to the parents what's happening, but it gets the kids thinking also. So this is really helpful. And then the lesson for the day, this is all that we're learning about. So it gets our brains thinking at the beginning of the lesson, and then we might come back to this as a reference throughout the activities. This one is usually a whole sheet, but we've already started into it. These are really nice. This is a new-ish addition for Mother Goose Time. I think this started last year. These go along with the lesson plans, and it goes home with their activities, and it tells the families, this little piece of 2-year-old artwork doesn't look like much, but this is what I was doing. This is what I was talking about. This is what I learned today. So we usually attach this to their artwork in some way or just send them home together, but it's really neat to communicate that, because sometimes when parents pick up, they've had a busy day and they're not thinking about, what is this? This doesn't make much sense. So it's really nice for the children to be able to have this to hand to their parents and say, this is actually a violin. This is what I was doing with that. So it's really neat. And it says, ask me. So we're, involving parents right there. Here's a question for you. It's already been thought of. Ask them. Ask them, what happened to the paint? Did you enjoy creating art with your breath? There you go. Now they know a little bit about what happened and why. One more thing that we like to hang up in the classroom is developmental continuum of skills. These, again, are the national standards for early childhood, and it's a nice big poster because they're showing all the way from infants through the primaries what the standards are and what it's gonna look like. This is really huge because, again, it looks like they're playing, but that same activity in early preschool is going to look very different than it is later in pre-K or on up. This curriculum can extend pretty far, which is nice. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about our infant program, because Mother Goose Time has this really great curriculum called Experience Baby. This one is the early learning continuum of skills. It takes those standards that are for the really young ones and breaks it down just a little bit further. So these are going to be really helpful for parents to see what it looks like for our young infants, which are 3, 4, 5 months, up through young toddlers. So young infant, older infant, young toddler. And these are going to break down color-coded to match with their curriculum cards. Their curriculum comes a little different because the abilities and what it might look like is very different with a 3-month-old than it is with even an 8-month-old. Those milestones happen so fast with the little ones. They get a stack of cards, and they will take the cards, like, say it's the first day of the month, they're going to take all the number 1 cards, a purple one, an orange one, and a green one. Purple is connect and communicate, orange is move and grow, and then green is play and explore. So they're gonna get one of those cards. Now, in the course of a day, the infant room is pretty busy, and the basic goals are keep them all clean and happy and fed and changed and napped, and that's a lot. So when we talk about curriculum, we take it with a grain of salt. Some days they're gonna get to all the activities. They might even get to something that they did the day before and they loved and they wanna do it again. They might get to something later in the week that they didn't get to earlier in the week. It's very, very flexible, which is why the cards are so nice. Whereas these, this is kind of one whole topic for the whole day, and the next day we're moving on to something else. With the infants, they can be a little more flexible, as we should be. So theirs comes in a different way. Each child gets one of these handy little pockets, which is so nice to keep everything together. Each child gets their own little journal. This little journal can go back and forth from home to school every day. There's a little spot in the top to write things that happened overnight. This gives us a really good insight into, they seem to be teething, or they might need to nap earlier today because they didn't sleep well last night, or they might be hungry sooner because their last feeding was a while ago. So this is really helpful communication from parents to the teacher, and then the teacher will work all day filling this in with diapering and what they ate and when they did their activities and what they might need if they need more diapers or whatever it might be. And then there's a spot down here for this back and forth. This might be a really good place to write down, You know, maybe they got a little bump or something and we need to talk about what happened there. Or maybe it's something they really enjoyed and we want to write that down and make note of it. Then right here in these columns, again color-coded, matches up, and the teacher gets to put in their stickers. Everybody loves stickers. So they have the stickers that match, and on the sticker it has the same number, and then it has the title of the activity, the standard, which we don't think about that much for our really little ones, but it's really important. It sets the stage for what comes next. And then it has a little bit about the activity, kind of what they were doing. These things are so important, and it's a really quick way to put it in their journal and mark down what they did that day. Saves time for the teacher, and it communicates to the parents. So these are all really helpful. This is our infant curriculum. It's a lot of fun, and it's so important that those little ones have different experiences and sensory and language, and you know, they're moving and growing too. They're just little tiny bodies. The last thing that we would do is our child progress monitoring reports. We try to do these at the beginning of the year and then again at the end of the year, sometimes throughout if we notice a child has made a big leap somehow. But these are really fun, and it has, again, all the standards, and they're all color-coded. But it has places where the children get to do some part of it, and then the place where the teachers get to mark down things they're noticing. Some of our teachers will use different colored pens, and they'll say, you know, the purple pen was September, the green pen was January, and so they can kind of keep doing it throughout the year. Lots of different ways that you can handle this one. These again come from Mother Goose Time, and you can order them separately from the basic curriculum. They're pretty handy to have though, one for each kiddo. And we'll go through them. The best part is at the end of the year when they get to look at where they started and then how far they've come. This is especially cool for our pre-K kiddos because then we take this little book and their work sample, and when they graduate, they get to take all of that with them. And their parents can take this to their kindergarten teacher and say, at the end of June, this is what my child could do. This is what they know. This is a really good place to start. It's really, really helpful, and we've had feedback from a number of kindergarten teachers in our community. Because it's a small town, we hear that this is really helpful. It gives them kind of a jumping off point for what they're gonna do with their kinders. We do it with our younger ones too, and it's still fun to see the growth, but pre-K, this is very, very cool. So those are just a few ways. Mother Goose Time is so complete in what they include, and it's really fun for the teachers to get their bus box at the beginning of the month and pull it all out and get excited about it and see where we're headed and what's gonna happen and what toys we should put on the shelves and all of that good stuff. And most importantly, all of that communicates to the parents that we know where we're headed, we know why we're doing it, and early childhood education is so important. These little ones are, you know, being shaped from day one, and what we do with our infants sets the tone as they get older. And ultimately, we want kids going to kindergarten that are not only prepared academically, but socially, and they just love to learn, and they feel loved and cared for. So that's part of why we do what we do, and it's so fun to be along for the ride with Mother Goose Time and have their support and expert advice and materials, and it's just a wonderful thing. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Mother Goose Time, for all your hard work, and best of luck in your teaching adventures.